So recently I was looking at some just NFL draft content, and then what came across my screen was the Tennessee Titans, and they said they wouldn't pass on a generational prospect. So that got me to thinking, who has been a generational prospect in like the past 10, 11 years? So now I'm going to do that. I'm going to figure out who's been generational in every which way possible. So we're going to start with 2014. We're only going to look at the first round because if you're generational, you're going to go in the first round. So take a look here, and I will give you 3 seconds to guess which guys you think were generational here. Alright, so first things first, you're gonna see when we go through all these drafts, I have different like classifications and kind of like tiers for the different like amount of generationalness that these guys have. So you'll see as it goes along how it gets more and more ridiculous. But first, in this draft, we have Jadeveon Clowney, for sure generational talent. He might not have lived up to that, but like he was like the very first like freak that everybody knew about. Like we watched this guy through high school, through college, blew up a dude in Michigan, and then he was generational. Aaron Donald was extremely good, extremely fast and quick, but he was short, so we can't really give it to him, but he basically was. And then we have Odell. I'm just a Giants fan, so I had to throw him in here. He seems pretty generational to me. Moving right along, we got the 2015 NFL draft. So I'm going to give you another 3 seconds to see who's generational from here. If you guess nobody, you are absolutely correct. But just because I had to have a graphic here, we have generational mixtape, Melvin Gordon. Look it up. I think the song is it's by SD. Whatever. I'll show a little clip of it somewhere on the screen right now. But generationally gassed after one solid year, Kevin White. I was never a believer, but he was good that 1 year. And then we just have Marcus Peters. I feel like he's like a generational crash out and generational West Coast athlete. All right, we're going to keep it pushing with the 2016 NFL draft. Now this one's a little tricky, but you're still only going to get 3 seconds. Try to guess who's generational or what I might say about this draft class. So first off, I think the only low-key generational player would be Jalen Ramsey, because at the time he was like hyped up a lot, and I remember watching him and like it was just like a thing to watch Jalen Ramsey play football. So low-key he was generational. Generationally sabotaged on draft night, Laramie Tunsil. It's pretty crazy that they got a picture of him smoking through a gas mask with a Confederate flag in the back. It's a very effective tactic to drop a guy's draft stock. And then low-key just kind of ass. We got Laquan Treadwell. He was gassed up a lot, but I was never a believer, and then he never did anything in the league either, so yeah. In 2017, we really start heating up. I'm going to give you another 3 seconds. Guess who's generational, guess who's not. So for sure, generational is Myles Garrett. Freak athlete, he looks like a tank, he looks like a unit. There's nothing you could do with this guy. Since high school, he literally looked like this. So we all knew generational athlete, consensus #1 pick. Probably the most generational athlete of the past decade. And then not at the time, but like maybe in hindsight, we had Patrick Mahomes, had a cannon of arm, was kind of loose, but like no one was, we weren't on to that just yet, so I'm not gonna say he was generational. We got TJ Watt in there. He's like super good, but I feel like he's just like good at football, but he's amazing in the league, so I kind of had to put him in here. But we got even more ass. We got John Ross, speedy guy, can't do anything else. And then who is that? Oh, Taco Charlton. Yeah, he's garbage. That's so crazy. He was so bad. I don't even know. I don't even think people were like even on him like that at Michigan. So now we got the 2018 NFL draft. I'm gonna let you guys know now. This probably has the highest amount of generational athletes, so take a good look. So here for sure we have 3 people actually. We have Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, and Saquon Barkley. Now, I feel like I'm gonna get some pushback from this, but I feel like all of these guys were so generationally talented, they got drafted way ahead than they should have. First of all, Josh Allen, he's from literally Wyoming, but like his athleticism and like raw skill was so crazy you had to take him in the top 10. Saquon Barkley was the 2nd overall pick as a running back, which is like unheard of. And Lamar Jackson got taken despite countless bouts of racism and old boyism in the NFL. And then also I got Derwin James here. Maybe I have a Florida State bias I didn't realize. But I remember watching a bunch of Florida State games and he was like all over the place. So I'm going to put him in super duper low key generational. And then we have ass o'clock in Josh Rosen. So bad that he got benched and replaced within 1 year after being like a top 3 or 4 pick. That's nuts. That's unheard of. So now we're getting even a little more modern here. So we should all know these guys like by heart by now. But take a look. Oh my goodness. Let's see what we got going up next year. So for 2019, we have 2 generational prospects. We got Nick Bosa and we got Dexter Lawrence. Now both of these guys are athletic freaks. Nick Bosa is a unit at defensive end, and Dexter Lawrence is a tower with orange gloves. So both of these guys are generational to this day in the NFL. We got generational to me as a D lineman at the time, and that was Ed Oliver and Rashawn Gary, just because they were like freak athletes and they're just kind of like players I enjoyed, so I'm gonna put them in there to show them a little love. And then we got Daniel Jones. So now we're gonna move to the 2020 draft and move into like this decade. Take a look here. Who do you think is generational? So personally, I don't think anybody here is. We got generational speed with Henry Ruggs. Take with that what you will. Joe Burrow was the closest, but I don't think anybody. He was like consensus #1. He kind of came on in his last year, but I don't think anybody was thinking that like he was gonna be as good as he is. So not at the time. The same thing with Justin Jefferson. Basically, everybody knew that team was stacked, but I don't think anybody was convinced that like all the players are actually like all like crazy stars in the NFL like that. Well, maybe they did, but I don't think they were saying generational really. Some lightweight ass Chase Young. We thought he was gonna be generational. There was like a whole like Chase Young bowl. If you're a Giants fan, you know what I'm talking about. But he's been low-key just super mid, so had to give him a little recognition here for just being mid. So 2021 is pretty significant for a very specific reason. You'll see in a second. Get your picks in though. Also, if you made it this far in the video, just subscribe. And comment Big Sean in your Cash App, and if you're a subscriber, I might send you a little present for being so retentive for me. All right, let's get into these picks now. All right, so we have one actual generational talent in Jamar Chase. He was able to sit out for an entire year and still be a top 10 pick because people realized he was that good. That's as generational as it gets. Almost, we got Patrick Surtain and Penei Sewell. Both these guys are pretty crazy. And I'm pretty sure at the time they were also hyped up. Probably should put Penei Sewell in the actual generational column, but I'm not going to do it. And then we have Avengers Assemble, because we just have a slurry of just garbage. We got Kadarius Toney, even though I'm still a fan. We got Trey Lance, extremely trash. Trevor Lawrence, this might be a hot take, but trash. Zach Wilson, garbage juice. Justin Fields, pains me to say it, ass. Oh, and then Mac Jones down there, definite ass. He's not that crazy bad though. He has some good plays, some good throws. Still ass though. All right, for the 2022 NFL draft, take a look. Tell me what you think. Who's generational? So yeah, this entire class was kind of mid. Shout out Kyle Hamilton and Trent McDuffie though. Also shout out Derek Stingley. Yeah, we got Sauce. We got Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave. Yeah, all these guys are solid players, but yeah, it's all pretty mid. However, I must acknowledge the generational ass that is Evan Neal. And all my Giants fans can take a moment of silence to just mourn the passing of our. Not too much. I just say the guy's not good. 2023 was a fun draft. We got a couple good ones in here, so tell me what you think. Who's generational and who's not? Okay, so we got generational and generational, I guess. Bijan Robinson, I'm pretty sure everybody called him generational. I don't know if I was on the same boat, but I feel like, I don't know, I'm not sure. I'm just not a Bijan Robinson guy. Sue me. And Jalen Carter, he was generational. With that little, like, I forget whatever legal problem he had that kind of dropped his draft stock. But if you actually look at his tape, it's ridiculous. Like, he's super fast and super quick at that size. It's pretty nutty. And then we got a generational talent. Kind of missed it at the time. That was Jahmyr Gibbs. His acceleration is crazy. So like that was definitely going to translate. And then we got Emmanuel Forbes. Yeah. Hopefully he can turn it around though. It's just unfortunate at this point in time. Now for 2024 NFL draft, it's probably the most interesting like conglomerate of players. So let's see who's generational. Yeah, Caleb Williams, he's still definitely was a generational prospect. You can't take that away from him. Like he could throw it 60 yards, like falling on his like left ankle. You can't really just like, it's pretty crazy if you look at some of his throws. Some of them just don't make any physical sense. That's pretty generational to me. Brock Bowers was the #1 tight end for 4 years straight. So you can't say anything about that. Generational gaslighting by the media. They hyped up Marv a lot, and I was a believer, but not 100%. Like I thought he was good. I didn't think he was like what they gassed him up to be. And then should have been gassed more is Jaden Daniels and Malik Neighbors. Now I know Malik Neighbors was gassed a little bit, but as a Giants fan, he could have been gassed more. That's my opinion. Actually, maybe not. He would have went to the Cardinals then. But Jaden Daniels, he actually was a riser too, so maybe we could just put them both as generational. What do you guys think? I already asked you guys to subscribe, so I won't bother you again, but if you want to subscribe. Like the video if you want. Peace.